Hello everyone, and welcome into today's action-packed video. You might ask yourself, what are we staring at? This was my haul from the HARTVILLE flea market located in the heart of Ohio at HARTVILLE. It was from HARTVILLE Marketplace and Flea Market, and this was my haul. This was exactly what I found on Saturday, May 24th. And I don't know when this video is going to air, but before I started to process all of this, I wanted to show you what I do in person, and this is exactly what I do. So let's get into these bags and see what I found. Some things are really magnificent, and others were just, they had to be purchased because of price. Look at that for an oyster shell. Great for display on my pearl strands. Welcome everyone in, and thanks so much for joining today. Check that out. And I will say, I'm not going to be on here long today because I do have a headache and I was stressed out. Oh, this is that. It's really stuck in this bag. This is that pincushion doll, and you have to stay tuned in the video because I did buy an 18 karat gold and diamond and pearl ring that you have to see, and I did buy an opal ring, and I did find a really fantastic aquamarine, a very, very large aquamarine in 14 karat gold. This is a pincushion doll, and she's really beautiful. She's German, she's porcelain, that's a half doll, and it is a pincushion doll, so she was made for pins, for sewing pins or hat pins. And look at that for that little passementerie trim that is still on there. I love the way the fabric is oxidized, and I thought she was really, really cool. When the arms are away or like kind of free, kind of not standing, but free kind of away from the body, they call it arms away. Those are much more valuable. I think just because she's all original, I still think around probably $35 or $40. Years ago, they were much, much more, but it was only $5. So I said to myself, have to have that because that's an easy resell. Let me get into, there's this jewelry bag, and I bought, oh, I remember this. These are Hopi overlay sterling silver clip earrings. Those were $3. There's the pair of them. And there's this thermoset Coro set. It's the necklace, bracelet, and earrings. And that in Coro, that was $3 from the same vendor. So I had to have those. Then I bought, that was $3 because that was in that bag. And I bought these cameos separate. We'll show you those in just a minute. We'll do a little drive-by on that. And let me grab these two rings out of here because these were separate. And there's the Coro set. There you go. Coro necklace, bracelet, and earrings for $3. I'm not going to be able to retire on that, but most certainly definitely worth buying. I had to have these too. And why I bought these is I've had such good luck over the years selling early turquoise and sterling. Sorry to fidget with these tags, but I don't want the tags in the way of showing you. Look at that green turquoise, Native American. And do you see that fine scratching on the surface of that stone? That takes a long time to happen, and there's a natural kind of fissure or natural kind of crack in the stone that is acceptable. And as early Native American collectors, we are okay with that. I would say circa dating on this specific one, being Navajo, I would say probably circa 1940 into 1945. And then on the flip side of that, I have such a diverse grouping of buyers that this is green and this is prasiolite, so it's green prasiolite. Sorry about the traffic, but it is a holiday weekend, so people are out traveling and going completely crazy. But listen to the wind. Mother Nature is also saying hello and telling me to slow down and relax and enjoy the sunshine. And the reason for the panic in the video, I want to get out on my mountain bike, and it's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat myself to a bike ride today as soon as I'm done with the video. So thank you for understanding the kind of anxiety sometimes in my voice. But this is green prasiolite. These are little tiny diamonds. Look at the construction of that gallery in solid sterling silver. And that's a great size. That is a size 7 3/4. Let's look at these cameos. These were from my friend Barry. I've known Barry for a long time and his amazing daughter Jennifer. They do watch my channel, so a shout out to Barry and Jennifer. Thank you for being my friends in the business. And I bought a lot of cameos from him. These are both Hardstone, and these are Hardstone cameos. So that is a banded, either an onyx or an agate. So there was white on top of black and then carved down. And look at that figural Victorian. Look at her absolutely gorgeous hardstone. So I'm going to make rings out of these, and then I'm going to sell the rings. I'm going to bring them on the channel, and I'm going to sell some custom-made pieces. I had to have this one because anything unusual in cameos, as I've talked about before, if you haven't seen my cameo video, please consider going over to it and taking a look, because I did a quick view of my cameo collection almost probably a year ago now. I should probably revisit that collection, and I have so many more than what I showed, but I always went after unusual. This is very unusual because she's Art Deco, she's a flapper girl, and look at her parasol and her bobbed hair, and I just loved the gesture and the detail. She was magnificent. That's carved out of shell, very large. But that is going to make a great ring. Maybe I'll even do a brooch or a pendant, but I'm very courageous as a designer, and I don't do what's predicted of me. I never have. I've always kind of went against the grain and did my things my way, especially with my artwork, and it's got me this far in life, so why change now, right? After 51 years, look how beautiful she is. I don't go for idealized cameos. I don't go for just beautiful. But boy, she sure captivated my mind of that hair and the earring and that beautiful rose blossom at her bust line. So that was a yes. And please excuse if I'm off center because I have the camera mounted with my bracket right in the center, so I really can't see what I'm showing you, and I just want to make sure it's in focus. This was much more simplified, much more classic. Classic beauty, but the hair and that headband and her profile. She has a very beautiful face. I didn't consider it idealized, but she's very, very beautiful. So that was a yes. And then this one is Victorian. This one's much earlier than the rest. And this is shell as well. I would say on this one, circa dating on this one, based on the headpiece and the kind of classical dress, I would say around 1860, 1870. And again, look at how cool with that little hatch mark of keeping track of either the artist or the date that it was produced. All of these are carved in Italy, by the way. These are all Italian cameos. They also had cameos from Eider Oberstein, Germany. So don't always be sure that cameos are always Italian, because they're most certainly not. There were such cameos produced in Germany, but very infrequently. There is a big difference when you see German cameos as opposed to Italian, and I'll get into that in coming videos, but look at her. Look at that face and the proportion of her youthful cheeks and that kind of elongated neck. Love the hairstyle and that really beautiful bouquet of flowers on her shoulder. And again, how could you get a cameo for $22 that's old, vintage, amazing, without crazing and cracks through it? And these yelled out to me, please save us and set us in sterling silver and bring us back to life. You know that most of these had gold frames that unfortunately were claimed over time. Now I am going to fight to remount these. And Barry, thank you for being a friend, and thank you for inspiring me to create. I really did appreciate the discount as well. I bought an old lock with no key. Don't ask me why, but I had an attraction to this. I just simply had to have this, and maybe someday I will find the key for it, but there was something there. I had an attachment to that. It's almost like from a past life of mine. This is a trench art piece. This is military, likely World War II. Not exactly sure, but this is definitely trench art with those kind of shells and cartridges, and then that hand chase medallion in the center, and then made on an old kind of army style buckle and just adhered to it. They made these in the trenches, and that was definitely a souvenir, a wartime souvenir. That was $5. And such things, you know, they can carry a price of between $50 and $80. Some people out there would disagree with me, but I've been trading in general line antiques for a long time. I had 2 trench art shells years ago, and I sold a pair of them as vases for $300. And they had dates of, I think, 1914. So maybe this is World War I. I think I maybe have made a mistake. I think this is World War I. I just corrected myself. So there you go. When you make a mistake and you misspeak, just correct yourself. And then in This is a tiny little French French miniature box. And what I liked about this is such pieces are great, but you have to have the hand-painted versions. You have to have the hand-painted versions, or they just don't want them anymore. And this is Limoges from France. And check that out about hand-painted little trinket box. Then there's a coin glued down in there. So that original manufacturer glued a foreign coin down inside, probably to have instant wealth already to the new consumer. So very beautiful sentiment, and I love that heart-shaped kind of faux padlock at the front. I will buy things such as that because, you know, again, I know my market, and I know that that's at least 35 or 45. So, and I think I paid $3 for that. Anyways, let me get into this other box. And, oh, a Louis Vuitton checkbook cover. And I don't normally do designer or Louis Vuitton things because I don't know it well enough. But boy, that logo and that finish sure look good to me. I went on the inside and I looked at that. It says Louis Vuitton, made in USA, under license, and then it says fabric designs. So then I saw that and I go, well, I don't think Louis Vuitton was ever made in the United States. I mean, that was foreign to me, you know, no pun intended. And I looked at the way this was stitched and I said to myself, no, that looks right. And the inside looks right. And guess what? This is supposed to be correct. Now, if you disagree or you want to say that it's not, please leave it in the comments and let me know. But I did some research on look at this, the 20-cent stamp. I think this was, or it was 240. But the age of this, I believe, was from the 1980s. I think it was like 1981 to 1985, whatever I found out online, just quickly. And basically the way this is constructed, it is right. There's wear here, there's wear here, but the way this is constructed is correct. So from now my quick research, this is supposed to be from like 1980s and was licensed in the United States to be produced by Louis Vuitton. So absolutely cool. And I don't do designer stuff, but guess what? It was $5. And I thought for $5, I'm going to take the gamble. And if it's right, I think retail's like $125, you know, or thereabouts. So again, if you have further information on that and you want to leave it in the comments, please do so because Louis Vuitton and designer or luxury brands are just not my jam, unless it's Cartier or Tiffany. So anyways, I thought that was cool for $5. And that was great. That was great. That was late in the day. And then I'm going to show you this to keep you here. What on earth is this? That is the Aquamarine, and yes, it needs to be cleaned, but this is that huge Aquamarine. And when I first bought it, because of the daylight, I thought it was quartz. I thought it was just rock crystal. And it's in 14 karat gold. Look at that late 1940s, very retro mounting. Look how that aqua bends and pushes that light right back out to you. That scintillation is definitely gemstone. I will do a video on, shall you say, the difference between glass and aquamarine, and also aquamarine versus blue zircon, and that towards blue spinel. So kind of a versus video. And I'm going to get into those. And I appreciate your patience with me to let me settle into the gemstone world so I tell you correctly. But look at that for 1940s aquamarine ring. I would say approximate carat weight on that stone is going to be around 20 to 25 carats. It may hedge more towards 30 based on how deep it goes, because it goes very, very deep in that very big mounting. But look at how that's scrolled and the architecture of old gold mountings, how that shoulder comes up and holds this kind of industrialness. Very clean line. Can you imagine the person that would wear this back in the late 1940s? How forward-thinking were they? How courageous in fashion were they? But that's an aquamarine, and I want to thank my friend Sue at Viva Vintage for allowing me to buy that treasure. So Sue, thank you so much. And she gave me this awesome old box. She watches my videos and she said, you love these old boxes, so you may have that one. And I said, thank you so much. The other ones that were from her, she wanted to give me this as a gift, and I was stunned. And I said, it's arts and crafts and it's tooled leather, and I love it very much. And I used to collect these. And of course, the handle has a ton of wear on it, but that's normal. And when, I bought 2 other rings from her, she said, I want you to have this purse for free. So Sue, thank you for my bonus as well. And down in here, as I reach down in, and I'll set this over here, I'll reach down in here and I'll show you two more rings. There's a really great one in here. We'll look at this one. So that is a genuine opal. And unfortunately, as we know, opal is very shy in daylight. There is this electric blue and green flash that runs through this. Pink and yellow, very vibrant for a natural opal. That's 100% natural. Could I say that it's Australian? Most times when we see these with that bluish base and that kind of, very pale white, but the flashes of pink and lime green and blue, most of the time these are Australian in origin. Produced in this mounting around 1915, maybe into 1920. Definitely considered more transitional Edwardian into Art Deco. Very, very beginning of Art Deco, shall you say, and right at the end of Edwardian, because notice that little filigree, that kind of open work or pierce work, looks like a butterfly on the shank. Very elegant, very timeless, and this has a secret. So once you push down on, let's see, it's this side. Once you push down on this side, watch what happens. You said to me, I didn't want an opal. Do you want a gigantic ruby? And let me wipe it off. That is a synthetic ruby. So that is completely synthetic. And boy, does it fluoresce under black light. So let's say you didn't want to wear the opal. Look, it flips underneath. So this is normally, look at that. Normally, that is going to be a cameo on one side and an onyx on the other. I have never seen this flip style ring with a synthetic ruby on one side and an opal on the other. See how it's got that little rod there? That snaps down in that right there. Listen. See, it snaps down in and then it holds it there, but it only flips in one direction. It only flips in one direction. You cannot flip it in the other direction. Let me prop my leg up over here because I'm leaning forward and I want to get right in on that stone. So again, that came from Sue. And I really appreciated her. And it was great because I hadn't found much gold that day. And she said to me, do you want to look at some gold today? Look, I'm fidgeting with this and I can't. Oh, there we go. I don't want to force it because I didn't know what side. But look, and then it flips down. I'm fascinated by this. And I'm definitely going to bring this to a bully run sale because I can tell that there's people out there that are like, are you kidding me? Like, that's the ring I want. That's my investment ring from Jason, But you cannot upgrade from this. There's really nowhere to go. And I hope you can see that pink and that blue and that lime green and that opal. I really hope it's coming through. I don't see it much, but then again, I can't see much because of the way I have the camera mounted, but I hope you see it because that's a magnificent ring. And then this one. This was the one that got me the most excited. And she said to me, I can't do real low because it's 18 karat gold. And look, as soon as I saw it, I didn't care about the price. It does have one little bezel set diamond out right there. So I'll fix that, no problem. And I want you to look up close on this. Look at the way that each little pearl, each little half pearl is completely set with little prongs. Can you imagine the skill that it took to quilt this surface? The surface is quilted with bezel set diamonds and tiny little half pearls. And look how they graduated the size of the diamonds and they graduated the size of the pearls. Do you know how difficult that is to create? This has to be one of the most labor-intensive rings I have found within the last year. The craft and the skill that it would take to put this together. This is solid 18 karat gold. It is artisan signed on the inside. There is the maker's mark. Let's see here. Right there. There's the maker's mark. And it's 18 karat. So it looks like it's JD. Let me take a quick peek. And I have to look this up. JM. I'm sorry. It looks like a J and an M. And J and M. I should have brought all these pieces in to the house and done a lightbox video. But look at the scintillation and the dance and the sparkle in those bezel set diamonds. And I haven't cleaned this yet. This is just fresh out of the market. And look how they open back set all of them. The labor and the skill. And look, they spared no expense. When I say look at the weight of a shank system, even if this wasn't marked 18 karat gold, you could tell by the quality, the craft, and also the heft of that gold. See how thick that shank system is? They spared no expense. This was high end. This was the highest end that they could obtain, and the stone quality in both the pearls and the diamonds is magnificent. So that is that's what I would consider a showstopper. And again, Sue, thank you for stopping me at the market and saying, hey, I have some things you might be interested in, because that was the show of all shows. That was the one. And then in this box, this was bought from several different dealers, sterling silver, and I bought this from a gentleman from Cleveland, and I always forget his name, but he's been my friend for a long time there, and I always forget his name. I'm drawing a blank, but I think the guy is awesome. Sterling silver. This one was the one I got for $3, and I'll talk about this in another video, but that is low carat gold on the shank system. See the yellow color on that? So that's probably 10 karat gold, maybe a 14 karat gold shank system, and then soldered onto sterling silver that is a synthetic color change sapphire. So that would test as corundum. See how it goes, that purplish blue into the red? If that was a real alexandrite, I would have retired by now. So, but that's a very early construction. Silver topped gold. See, there's silver on top of gold. The gentleman did not know it was gold, and I got it for $3. So that was one of my best buys of the day for $3. That was late in the day when all the other dealers had been through, and everyone said, oh, there's nothing here, we're going home. And the gentleman just put the boxes out, and there was 4 boxes. And I bought 2 other pieces, but those are my secrets. As a dealer, I've always had to keep some secrets, and obviously it keeps my business very, very safe. But those are crystal or spinel, and I will definitely get those checked out. I thought they were diamonds at first. They're not. They don't have the fire and effervescence, and those are very early cut. Look how deep they are. Very small crown angle, very small top table. So those are transitional European cut stones, but magnificent for $3 with that gold shank system. And I was just really happy that I got that for $3. Anyways, that was awesome. And then this one, I think I paid $30. This is citrine, sterling silver, and beautifully done citrine and fantasy cut. I've had this ring now 2 other times. Same ring, same stone, and I've always loved that fire of fantasy cut citrine. It's a sunshine yellow. It's very, very bold, optically beautiful, and look at that with that checkerboard cutting across the surface. So fantasy cut from behind, checkerboard on the top, and really distills down that light that comes through it. So really love that very much. And then this. So this was from another gentleman who sold me a tray, and I don't know where the tray is, but he sold me a tray from Don Drum Gallery. And this was I knew as soon as I saw it, it's a Czechoslovakian glass necklace. And of course, it's got, the filler fibers from that garbage white stuff that, I can't stand. And this is glass and brass Czechoslovakian from the late 1920s into the 1930s. That was $1. It was $1. So that's the kind of thing I go for. When I go out to the flea market, I wait for the late strike, and he had just put it out. And I think that was at 1 o'clock when everybody else was gone. All the other dealers, all the other competitors, they had all left. And I said, I'm staying here, and I'm going to find some more treasures. And I'll tell you what, I did. Then the biggest one, I won't say what dealer I found these from. I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say magnificence. These are Art Deco, and these are crystal and sterling silver Art Deco chandelier earrings. And I'm not going to say anything else besides they're totally complete. I had a pair remotely similar about a year ago-ish, and I sold them for a substantial amount of money. That's all I can say. And I wish you could see these. Darn it. Here, let's put it on these. Let's put it on my Louis Vuitton, I hope Louis Vuitton wallet or checkbook cover, at least from my limited research and limited knowledge. People say, why do you steer away from luxury goods? I don't steer away from them, but there's just too many reproductions out there that are really, really, really good. And why spend money on something that's a fake, for resale is what I'm saying. Like, it's okay, if you want to use one that's fake. But look at that in the daylight. Look at those crystals in the sunlight. Let's move them down here. Look at those. They're just so alive and so beautiful. And those are sterling. Late 1920s, totally complete. Every stone is there. And they fully articulate. Look how many joints are in those. How many jointed areas those have. The movement in these is just magnificent. So those for sterling silver Art Deco earrings, I'll make an absolute fortune. This was amazing. So this little dog, this little stiff dog was curled up inside of a little toy tractor. And my friend, he goes by the name Treelon. That's what he wants to be called. He loves to be called Treelon. His dog Amy is like one of my best friends at the flea market. And he had this in his tractor and he gave it to me. And he said, I want you to have this. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't just take that from you. It's too valuable. And he said, no, for all your years of friendship and buying from me, I want you to have this. And so I hurried up and I threw $10 at him, not at him, but on the table. And I said, buy Amy some treats from Uncle JJ. So Amy, if you're watching this video, I love you, sweetheart. And hopefully I get to take you for a walk at the flea market, because I do take her for walks at the flea market. Whenever he's selling, I take Amy for walks. Or should I say, she walks me, and she's the cutest yellow lab. So thank you, Treelon, for this magnificent mohair dog that I really, truly love. So thank you for your friendship, and thank you for the gift. And Amy, I hope you're enjoying your treats from your Uncle JJ. This was some of the other treasures. Oh, an Art Deco flapper beaded necklace. And this lady watches my channel. So honey, if you're watching, thank you for my $15 bargain in flapper beads. And these are carnival seed beads. This is from the late 1920s into the 1930s. And when you find these, they're normally not complete. And look at the Venetian glass beads. So thank you, sweetheart, for watching my videos. Thank you for saying hello to me. And I didn't get your name, so the next time you see me, just yell at me and I'll come over and say hello. But those are flapper beads and really magnificent, in great condition. So thank you for watching my channel as well. And I have been meeting so many of the people that watch my channel now out in real life, and it really is kind of a cool thing. So now, these were early buys. This was a glass pendant with that little, the little glass pendant joined to it with the mushroom in it. This was a great brooch. This was really nice for enameling. That I think was $5, I think. Yep. And then this one, I had to buy that enamel for $5. So I'm going to do a grouping of these two at a sale because they're really well done for costume jewelry. And I really liked this lady. She was very nice and she was very cute. I did buy in this box right over here, the Home Depot box. I wanted to get to this. We'll do another unboxing from, I think his name was Paul, I think. He's an auctioneer and a realtor. And I bought a glass and porcelain miniature slipper, like slippers and shoe collection. This was in it. Look at this for a little tiny paper mache or composite shoe with the strike on the bottom, the matches on the inside. You could use this as a match safe or as a snuff box, but this is definitely matches because of that rough area on the bottom of the shoe or that really cool Victorian shoe. Look at that for construction. I'm going to pause you one sec. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. My paper bag just took off and I had to go chase it down. So if I'm out of breath, please forgive me. Look at the little nails in the bottom of the heel there. And I just loved this. This was in the collection of all the shoes. And there must be over, I would say, 60 or 70 glass, porcelain, stone, bronze, brass, spelter shoes in this box. And I really wanted to get to that, and I'm not going to be able to today. A little tiny art pottery tray. And as soon as I saw this on the table, it was $1. Knew I had to have it, and I'm so glad I did. It's from Dawn Drum Studio in Akron, Ohio. Not sure on the artist who did this, but there's the artist mark there. So if anybody out there knows that artist mark, please let me know. But that came in from Dawn Drum Gallery, and I'm sure at the gallery it wasn't $1. Patent leather bag. And hopefully I didn't get my reflection in there, but patent leather Bakelite bag. And let's open this up because I bought other jewelry, and I bought this bag, patent leather. There's the maker. Bought the patent leather and Bakelite bag in perfect condition for $3. And on the inside here, some more jewelry pieces, some more contemporary jewelry. These were $1 a piece, and I said yes to those. This was, oh, I don't remember what the, oh, I remember. We got to show you those. That was $1. And, oh, here, this was cool and this was cool. So let's prop the bag up this way, snap it shut. Yeah, check that out. Look at the Bakelite kind of mountings where the straps go in. I said to myself, I'm buying that for $3. Couldn't get the money out fast enough. Little sterling silver heart earrings, and check out that modernist pendant. Look at those earrings in sterling, but check out this pendant. Bloodstone, carnelian, and cubic zirconia. Completely hand-constructed in sterling. Really kind of cool, but those were very affordable. And I think the guy's name, I want to say his name is Nick. I'm probably wrong. No, his partner that he was set up with at the other booth, his name was Nick. And then check these two out. These were from my friend Mary. Mary, thank you so much. You watch my videos as well. And I've been friends with Mary at the flea market for... Boy, Mary, I guess I could ask you the next time I see you. I think we've been friends for almost, 25 years. I've known you for a very long time. These are both sterling silver. This is green turquoise, and this is amber. These are both sterling silver, and yeah, Mary was really good to me on price. So, Mary, thank you so much for letting me buy both of those. And that's the bag that goes to it. And this came from the purse lady. And at first, I wasn't going to buy these because I thought that all the jewelry on her table was new. And one of my friends, I think Matt, walked up to me. My friend Matt, he walked up to me when I was there, and I, got distracted by saying hi to him. I almost passed these up, but these are Art Deco. These are glass. Look at the color of these for Art Deco. And then that snake kind of chain. Yes, absolutely old Art Deco. 100%. Late 1920s into the 1930s. I would say on this construction, later 1930s. Absolutely later 1930s. But look at that gathered sapphire blue glass. Really incredible. And I love the gunmetal plating on that snake chain. So yeah, that was an absolute yes from the lady with the purse. And then I think there is... Oh, wait one sec. Hold on. Okay, so here we are. We're back, and I got these unfurled. These are all wrapped up in bubble wrap. These came in from my new friend Paul, who's the realtor and auctioneer. And these are Japanese ceramics, late 1960s into the 1970s, but these have started to really surge in price, and now you can see why, because they have that modernist flair, that kind of impressionistic gesture. Look at the detail on the face and that glaze, but a child holding a bird, absolutely magnificent. And I initially bought this for a quick resale, and now I just can't do it because I know that these are going to start to really elevate in price. So I'm probably going to stash these for maybe a year or 2 years, kind of check the market and see what it's doing. But this has definitely started to surge. Years ago, we could get them as low as $5 or $10 a piece, and now those prices are through the roof. And we can see why. Then there's two more. Look at this little girl playing with the little string in her hands. You remember how we used to do that in school, the little cat's cradle? Check that out for early Japanese ceramics. There you go, Made in Japan label, and look at the face and the detail. But yeah, these are the things that I see going up in value. I see them going up in value because the quality is so great. They were produced in great numbers, but that terracotta pottery with the high gloss glaze, really magnificent for that mid-century appeal, because mid-century is so hot, very, very, very hot, and will continue to be as far as I'm concerned. This was my favorite, and this is the one that I said no matter what, I wasn't going to sell it. Look at that little girl with this tiny little baby kitten, and let's get in close on that cat. So you ready for this? I don't know where the label went. Here it is. Look what I paid for the set, and you wonder why I got to the flea market. I go out and I start early and I stay late because it was $10 for all three pieces. $10 for all three pieces. I would have paid for this one alone $30, and I would have known that I was going to make money. Felted bottom, needs to be cleaned up, and there is the Made in Japan label. But again, terracotta and the gesture in the face. Look how much it would take to create this. And they're in such wonderful condition, down to every little single toe is there. The gesture, the glaze, the way these are constructed, artisan, artisan done, mass produced in a mold. So molded, likely then worked by hand, and apparently these glazes were then altered by hand. Look how large these are. Normally such figures are very, very small. These are the large versions. So if you find them smaller, definitely still valuable, but not as valuable as these much larger versions in really beautiful condition. Like I said, look at the bow in her hair. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. This again was from my haul from HARTVILLE Flea Market from Saturday, May 24th, basically before the Labor Day weekend. I'm going to head back out there, specifically on Labor Day, which I believe is Monday. So thank you so much. Hopefully I can get this video up in time. And on the way home from the flea market, yeah, I stopped at a store and I bought an incredible natural blue sapphire and 14 karat gold heart. Look at that, and it's a monster. It's magnificently large, so stay tuned for a video on that. We'll get that to the light box and cleaned up, but boy, oh boy, for blue sapphire in such a large 14 karat gold heart. So again, always stop and see what else there is. After you're done shopping, don't say that you're done. Stop one more place. Always give it a go. Try one more time. That's what I've always told everybody, and that's why I'm where I'm at in life. And I've always considered it very successful and such a joy to have this journey. Thank you all so much. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And you know it. I love you because I do.